right?
No. I was with Dennis Quaid then.
Oh, you were Dennis. Okay, great.
I wasn't really single.
Okay.
Mr. Six Pack.
Yes.
Still has a six pack. He's like 90.
Hi. When I was a teenager, the movie that you did that just meant the most to me and touched my heart was Some Kind of Wonderful. And just recently, my own teenage daughter got to watch it for the first time, and she just cried and fell in love with it. And so I just wanted to know if you would talk about what it was like to make that John Hughes film.
It was an interesting thing. My husband, Howard Deutsch, who wasn't my husband at the time, was directing that movie, and he offered it to me, and it was a totally different script. Same idea, kind of a love triangle. And then my husband quit the movie. I said no. My husband quit the movie. They got a different director to do it. They cast all these people. They cast Kim Delaney as me. And then they fired that director, and Howard Deutsch came back on. He fired Kim Delaney and I had Howard the Duck come out, and it was a big bomb, so I said, I'll do it, please. I'll never work again. So it was a strange genesis, and then it was a completely different script. It was much more kind of serious. The first script was much lighter. And anyway, so it was an interesting time for me because I had really gotten socked in the face. The reviews were so horrible, and it was so awful with Howard the Duck. So, and then it was also Eric Stoltz who had been fired. You know, it was like so many things going on. But I always loved John Hughes' movies, and I always felt left out of the Brat Pack. So I was happy to be in one, and I think it's a really beautiful movie, and it really endures. The music, the costumes, the story, it really endures, and I always have to tell this to my husband because it really wasn't a hit. It was considered a big disappointment, and he had done Pretty in Pink, which was a big hit. And so I just have to remind him, because they come up to me, not so much to him because they don't recognize him, and tell me how much it means to them. And it is a really beautiful movie. I'm really proud of it. I love the music. I listen to the soundtrack all the time.
Me too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll tell my husband. Hi.
Hi. What kind of makeup and physical work did you have to do to portray an older character in Back to the Future? And was it hard for you after working with those characters to suddenly be working with them portraying an older age?
There was a lot of makeup, and it was all plastic, and it really hurt. And no, we just had a lot of fun with that, with the different characters. And I clearly was, I'm older than the old Lorraine now, and I altered my voice. Like I was like, Marty. Your uncle didn't make parole again. I don't talk like that. So it went a little overboard, but it was, we worked really hard. Sometimes as actors you want to pretend it's really easy, but we really worked hard on those characters and trying to find the inner life in them. And somehow I really just understood them. And the makeup was fun because you kind of got to get into the character. And I was really specific about the makeup for the young Lorraine because I hate that when actresses do period movies and they still have like 80s hair when it's supposed to be the 40s do you know what I mean? I was really specific with the shades of lipstick and the exact kind of makeup that you would do and the weird hairdos, and I really wanted it to be perfect and not fake. So anyway, thanks. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I had heard that it took 3 hours a day to apply the various types of makeup to make you 47-year-old Lorraine McFly.
Yeah, it took a long time, and it's an imperfect science, because like I said, I was in J. Edgar, and some of that makeup was really not so great, and it's a really hard thing to get right. It's very time-consuming. It's so time-consuming that the makeup artist actually broke the mask of me when he was done with the movie. He was like, I'm sick of looking at her! That was nice. I didn't deserve that.
We'll go over, we'll alternate microphones. Oh, okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Hi, I wanted to thank you first for coming to Seattle because actually getting to meet you in person has been a personal milestone for me. And there's been a lot of talk about, moments and magic. Is there one moment throughout your entire career, because you've had a very diverse career, that is like gelled, has been like, time-stopping, like magical for you?
Besides this interview,
Besides this talking with you and our interview, I think it was the first time I stood on a Broadway stage and sang a song. Like the first time I walked onto a Broadway stage that I did cabaret on Broadway. And the first time I stood up there and I looked out at the house. I was like, this is it. This is for an actor, I think that's, because you control it completely. And I think that's it, yeah. But I have a lot, and I'm looking forward to a lot more. But thank you for asking me.
Thank you.
we talked the other day about this. You said that of all the types of artistry you've been involved with, stage work really is the most fulfilling.
Yeah, well, like I said, you're totally in control. When you're an actor in film, you have to know that the people are going to be cutting you and changing you and revoicing you, and you have to let go of that control or it would drive you crazy. So it really has to, when you're on stage, it's all about you. You can control the performance, and when you screwed up or when you hit it right. And also it's that exchange, it's so strange when you make a movie and then 6 months later it's out and you've forgotten what you've done and you don't have that same exchange with the audience. That's so wonderful.
Right, this is a Howard the Duck question. Looking back at it now, do you regret doing it? What are your real feelings about it? And I'm a fan of that movie and I think it shouldn't have bombed. What was it like working with Jeffrey Jones and Tim Robbins? And that duck?
Tim Robbins is not in the movie, according to him. No, Tim is wonderful. We had a great time, and Jeffrey was, one of those scenes that we shot in the is it like a diner? That whole scene that took a whole month to shoot. It was a very long time, and we all became really good friends. And the thing about Howard the Duck, I just wish they would have gotten a really good comedian to do the voice of the duck, because that would have been fun. I said to them, this mouth thing is not working very well, you guys. You haven't really figured out the animatronics, so just cut to other things and have funny stuff coming out, but they wouldn't do it. And after that, Bob Zemeckis asked me about that when he did Roger Rabbit, and I said, have real actors there doing the voices, which is what they did. Maybe I partly helped him with that, because it helped the actors with the comic timing to have really funny people doing the voice, off to the side. And, you know what? It was really hard when the movie came out, but I really love that there's so many fans for it, and they're the kind of people I really love. They're iconoclasts, people who kind of buck the system and like things that they're not supposed to like, and that's the kind of people I love. So I'm really happy to be in a movie that's embraced by those kind of people. And thank you.
Thank you.
But is there a movie that you've done and you look back on it and say, wish I would have turned down that one?
Oh, there's a lot of them. One of my friends in Carolina City did a movie called I Was a Teenage Dragon Slayer. But he was my friend and he was directing it, so I did that. But that's probably the worst one. But I've done a lot, because I'm really up to trying new things. And I take on risks, and I like doing different kinds of mediums.
You're tremendously versatile.
I like doing really small movies too. Like this movie I was talking about. I like helping young filmmakers and trying new things. So sometimes it goes awry. That's okay.
Lea, I'm such a big Back to the Future fan that I flew down a couple years ago to Burbank when you had the big cast reunion for an autograph show. I happened to be in the room when a certain person who wasn't scheduled to be there showed up for about 10 minutes. Big moment for me. and everybody else in the room.
Michael Fox.
Yes. As a 20-something, when you're looking to play somebody who's 47, what was your concept of the way you portrayed yourself at 47 with the makeup on, thinking, this is how I will look someday at 47, versus today when you are around that age, what would you have told 20-something Lea about this is what 47 is like, and make it people, this is what 47 is actually like?
Well, it was also character. I mean, I was supposed to be fatter, and I was supposed to be, an alcoholic and full-blown alcoholism, and also someone who lived. The point is, she lived a horrible life. Like her dreams were squashed, and that ages people in a different way than me, who has a fabulous life, wonderful friends. But my kids say they got the jowls right. I'm like, thank you. Right? It's okay. It's not so bad. I've lived these years. I've enjoyed them.
Believe me, I'm very close, and there are no jowls here.
It's okay. I could have come here like this.
As we're talking about Back to the Future and pivotal scenes, one of the scenes that stands out to me is the one where you're in the Biff Tannen penthouse suite. You're throwing yourself all over the place. I was wondering how long it took for that scene for makeup.
Well, because I was covered from here to here with the boobs. I have a great picture of Steven Spielberg putting his keys down my chest. No, they're not mature, these guys. It took a long time for that makeup, and I love that scene. Do you guys remember that scene where you're the one who wanted me to get these things. You're on back, you can have them. And I actually have that on my reel, because no one will give me that part now. I'm like, give me that part. I want to play that woman, and I love that character. And so, if you know any directors, tell them to give me that kind of broad diva. And the interesting thing about that character, I couldn't quite get the character right until I played a drag queen. So I was a woman playing a man playing a woman. That's how I did that. Because I couldn't get the walk right. And so that's what I did. And I love that character. She's really beloved to me.
We have only...
Thank you.
We have only a couple of questions. Let me toss in a real quickie here, and that is, I asked you if you were in a movie that you wish you had turned down. Is there a part that you turned down and said, oh boy, I wish I hadn't let that one go?
I try not to think that way. But do you guys remember Pretty Woman?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, this is just an audition I completely destroyed, because they were really interested in me for that part, and I thought it was a tragedy. So I came in like, I'm a hooker, and I have a terrible life. The director was like looking at me, don't you know this is a comedy? And I was like, no, a comedy about a hooker? I didn't quite get it. So I really blew that audition. That, and also the first Terminator.
Yes.
They were really interested in me, but I was driving a Pacer that was broken. The Pacer was broken and it was raining. So the clutch broke as I went down James Cameron's driveway on Mulholland. The clutch broke and I took out two of his trees on a light. And I should have come in like, I broke a tree, who cares? Instead, I was like, so I just didn't become Sara Conner, so it was sad. They were really interested in me, so I blew a couple auditions that I should have done.
AMC Pacer, dead ahead.
Yeah.
All right, yes.
First of all, tell your daughter that I'm a huge fan of Bringer.
Yay!
And then you said you like the sci-fi genre. What is your favorite franchise or TV show?
Oh, wow. Well, Star Trek. I mean, I was of the original Star Trek too. Like every Star Trek, I'm the biggest geek. I love William Shatner. That scenery chewing and the little pot belly. we didn't have a TV, and I would like find a TV just to watch, and I still watch those shows over and over. He is the best actor that ever was. And so I can't believe I've never been in a Star Trek. It's just so sad. I'm gonna call my agent right now.
One more quick one.
Okay, I have a question about Switch to Birth. Do you know sign language fluently?
No.
Okay, and what's like the process for learning sign language on a set like that?
We have experts, and they all argue because there's lots of different signs for everything. So I just, I'm lucky, because if I don't have to act, I don't want to. So my character isn't supposed to know that much, so I just kind of learn it so that I look like I don't know what I'm doing. That's a good excuse, because I'm just not smart. But yeah, I mean, I'm learning it as the character learns it, but it's fascinating and so beautiful and so fun, and it's so lovely that the whole deaf community is really appreciating being represented, and it's whenever I started acting, they told me not to use my hands, and so now I get to.
Do you work on a set where like you use sign language at all?
Yeah, it's really great because we can talk to each other while the camera's rolling. And the crew's all learning too. So it's a really fun thing. It brings us all together, and something I never thought I would do. And it's lovely that it's been embraced. Thank you.
You know, I haven't seen the show, and I can't wait to check it out. It's wonderful, and just one more great addition to a career that's so wide-ranging and so admirable in so many ways.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Lea
guys for
Thompson.
coming. Really appreciate it.